Uh, I don't know who's asking this question. Could be KBB. It could be
Uh-oh.
John. It could be they could be doing a duet. I'm not really sure.
Uh-oh. Now I'm nervous.
So
And
I don't know.
Kathy's covering her
KBB and John.
face.
Let's go.
All right. So thank you, Matt. This has been amazing. There's just so much to think about and to contemplate. So there was my question is, I have to tell you this part first. So there was a CDC report recently, it was actually in 2023, and it spanned from 2011 to 2021.
Mhm.
And they said that 57% of female students surveyed reported persistent feelings of sadness and hopelessness. Then they did a study with eighth grade, 10th grade, and 12th grade boys and girls. And almost 50% of them said, I don't I don't enjoy life and my life isn't useful. And so when you were talking about seniors feel that, like what am I doing here?
Yeah.
And people in prison are feeling like that. And now this report is saying, well, kids feel this way too. So what do you suggest in terms with kids?
Well, I mean, our hope is that these education, institutions, bring in our program. I mean, that's why we created the program. And we don't charge schools for our curriculum. It's free for them to have our program. We come in and do a lot of training, and we believe we're big believers in professional development to achieve the greatest success and impact with the program. But part of being a nonprofit, why I also switched it was to a nonprofit from a for-profit, is because our number one customer was teachers themselves pulling out their personal credit card to buy our program, and I wasn't okay with that. So number one, we want to get our program into as many schools as we possibly can. Number two is there's a lot of work that needs to be done with I believe with the adults as well. There's a lot of adults that work in education right now that don't feel like they matter at all. They are burned out, they're exhausted, they don't feel like they're seen, heard, and loved, they don't feel valued, their pay is ridiculous. And so we're now doing as much help and work with the adults in the room who are serving the youth in the room, because if the adults aren't healthy, they're not going to transition that to the youth as well. And now you throw in the layer of family. And so during COVID, all of our programming tripled because now we had educator programming, student programming, which we always had, and now family programming. And so my fourth book I wrote is called Every Monday Matters for Families, because we also saw this breakdown in the family construct. And so it's this holistic approach to how do you kind of bring all of this, again, ecosystem back together to focus on a healthier trajectory. And what does that take? But again, it takes a lot of time to turn these tides around. And sadly, we lose people along the way. But hopefully over time, we start to get this thing going in a better direction. But in those cases where, and back to what I said earlier about the suicide thing, when you hear students say, I have no reason to live, or like, I have no hope, in those cases, we absolutely have to pay attention. We absolutely have to step in immediately with a school therapist, with family. Like, those are things that we can't ignore. We have to pay attention to those right away and see what we can do to help get these kids on a better path. And it's everywhere. Sadly, it's everywhere right now. So we're working as hard as we can.
And it's the work you're doing is incredible.